Hey everyone, what's going on? It's Vic here, back with another Madden 20 video, and in today's episode, we're going to be rebuilding the New Orleans Saints without Drew Brees, actually, because Drew Brees does regress pretty fast in this game, considering he is 41, though he's still a great quarterback. We have our coach here, missed tackle, if you guys know what I mean with the Marcus Williams thing in the Viking game. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you probably are living under a rock and shouldn't be watching this video.
That's going to be where Keenum's going to try to work the ball on the boundary. Keenum steps into it. Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
Yeah, sorry, I had to do it to him. That was just too good of a meme not to show. And here we are with the overlook of the team, as we have, obviously, Drew Brees here. He's only an 84 overall superstar X Factor, which, I don't know if this roster is the right roster that should be downloaded, that I imported, actually. I downloaded this online. I don't think he should be an 84 overall. I think he should be higher in the season, but we're going to get rid of him anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Emmanuel Sanders, I meant to say, Jared Cook, Ryan Ramczyk, and Armstead as well. Don't really know too much about this team. Oh, and they also have Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston as well. Interesting. And defensive-wise, it's pretty good other than the linebackers. Linebackers do need help. Oh, and Marcus Williams. Yeah, this is the guy that did.
Steps into it. Pass is caught.
Yeah, the guy that missed the tackle. Overall, he's not a bad free safety, so we're going to keep him in Madden terms. But, yeah, he probably should have been cut for that, not going to lie. No, he shouldn't have been cut for that. He's overall, again, pretty great free safety. But apart from that, this team looks pretty good to me. And I would say it is time to get into the trades. Here we are for the first trade. We are trading our left tackle, our punter, and Malcolm Jenkins for a first and a sixth, I believe it is, from the Indianapolis Colts. Next, we have a defensive tackle, Janoris Jenkins and Robinson for a first pick in the draft from the New York Giants. All of them just took up a bunch of cap. Next, we have Latavius Murray, P. Williams, I think it's P.J. Williams, and our tight end Hill for a first from the Carolina Panthers. And this is what the team looks like after the trade. Not too much of a difference. We did trade that left tackle because, of course, left tackles are paid a lot. I know that, but I'm not willing to pay him that much whenever I could just probably get in a left tackle in the draft. Just for almost the same value, but just cost a lot less. So, apart from that, it is time to get into the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, coming off a win to the Arizona Cardinals, and we are 4-3-1 at the midseason mark, and we have players to re-sign, such as Alvin Kamara, or Kamara, however you say it. Superstar X Factor halfback, we're obviously going to want to keep him with the ability satellite. He wants more money, and Marcus Williams is also here. We plan to keep him. Only 22 years old, which is pretty great. And I'm going to extend that to 5 years, and he accepts it. Demario Davis is here. He is pretty old. I don't think I'm going to want to re-sign that. Drew Brees is here, and obviously this video is about moving on from Drew Brees, but maybe a one-year deal. I don't know yet. We'll look at the end of the year. Sheldon Rankins is here. I know he's a lot cheaper to get in free agency, so I'll just wait in free agency for that, but he is a player I do want back. Alex Anzalone wants way too much, and there's no way I'm re-signing Jameis Winston. So apart from that, there's no one else here that I have any interest in, including Taysom Hill. And apart from that, it would be time to get into the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs, coming off a win to the Carolina Panthers, and we have a first-round bye in the playoffs as we finish 11-4-1, top the division above the Atlanta Falcons. Drew Brees had a pretty great year. Offensively, we were 14th, and defensively, we were 25th. Alvin Kamara had a pretty good year. Drew Brees, 13 picks, which is a lot, but 31 touchdowns with 69% completion rate. Nice. Alvin Kamara with 13 touchdowns, and Emmanuel Sanders with over 1,000 yards. And defensively, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with the most tackles. Tackles for a loss goes to 15 for Cameron Jordan. 15 for Cameron Jordan, 10.5 sacks for Cameron Jordan. Interceptions, 4 for Marshawn Lattimore. and safeties is 0, defensive touchdowns is 1 for Marshawn Lattimore. So those are pretty good stats. I'm going to simulate it. If we make it to the NFC Championship, I might hop in. I don't know. But who are we going to be playing in the divisional round of the first year? We're going to be playing a divisional rival, 8-8 Atlanta Falcons, to move on to the conference championship. Could we do it? I don't know. We're about to see. And we do, facing the Detroit Lions. Ryan Ramczyk is here with another ability with Nasty Streak. I've never seen that ability before, but that's pretty cool, I guess, with Edge Protector as well. But I actually am going to simulate this game as well, because I want to see if we can simulate to the Super Bowl, which would be pretty cool in my opinion. To move on to the Super Bowl, we do not win it. The Lions win it 28-24, as they are going to face off against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's time to get into the offseason. Here we are in the offseason as the Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 54. We have players to re-sign, such as Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara and Demario Davis is also here with superstar development. That begs the question whether or not to re-sign him. I know I always see him a lot in free agency with like superstar X Factor, so I don't know if I want to re-sign him. Alvin Kamara here, 45 years old. Wants a 7-year deal. I'm going to up the bonus a lot. And he resigns. I still don't think we're going to resign Demario Davis. Sheldon Rankins, I think I can pick up cheaper in free agency. And there's no one else here that I have interest in. So apart from that, let's look into the team to see if there's any development upgrades. I expected Emmanuel Sanders to have star development, as Drew Brees did retire. Emmanuel Sanders, I thought he would have superstar development because he had over 1,000 yards receiving, but I guess not. Demario Davis obviously was superstar, and I don't think there's anybody else here that has a development upgrade. So Jameis Winston might be the quarterback of the future. We don't know. Wearing number 2 as well, which is kind of interesting. And apart from that, it'd be time to get into free agency. And here we are after free agency, as we did not pick up Jameis Winston because I tried to offer him a really cheap contract, but he didn't accept it. But we did get Marlon Mack as a secondary back. And defensively, we picked up Sheldon Rankins and Clinton Dix on a very cheap deal. Apart from that, there's no one else, and it is time to get into the draft. And we all have our new quarterback right here, Travis McHugh it is. 90 throw power, 60 speed, wearing number 8. He's going to be like another Drew Brees, basically, because actually I should have checked his height, so I'm going to actually do that right now. He's 6'3" or 6'2". Yeah, definitely not a Drew Brees, but we're going to give him a fitting name. But for right now, we're going to give him quarterback. Number 9 is what I meant to say. We're going to give him number 9, just like Drew Brees. But for now, it is time to get into the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, as we are coming off a loss to the Chicago Bears, and we are about to play the 3-4 Atlanta Falcons, as we are 5-2 above the Carolina Panthers, winning the division. We have Ryan Ramczyk to re-sign. I don't think I'm going to re-sign him because he does cost a lot of money, and I think I can pick him up cheaper in free agency. Emmanuel Sanders here and Jared Cook are just too old to re-sign, so apart from that, I think it would be time to get into the playoffs. And here we are in the playoffs, coming off a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we did not make the playoffs, finishing 3rd in the division at 9-7, just like almost everybody else. We went from 5-2 to 9-7, so I'm looking into the schedule. So there's the loss to the Bears, then win, 3 losses in a row, getting shut out by the Broncos, a win, a loss, a win, and a loss. So apart from that that sucks pretty bad. But looking at stats, Travis McHugh actually had a pretty good season. 17th best offense, 27th best defense. Yikes. Travis McHugh, a lot of touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Kamara, 14 touchdowns. Traquan Smith with a pretty solid season. Defensively, Alani Jordan with 30 tackles for a loss, 14 for Sheldon Rankins, sacks 11 for Cameron Jordan, interceptions 5 for Marshawn Lattimore, and safeties is 0, defensive touchdowns is 1 for Caden Ellis. So apart from that, guys, I think it would be time to get into the offseason. Here we are in the offseason as the Dallas Cowboys beat the Cleveland Browns in the Super Bowl 34-23. when we have some players to re-sign here, such as Ryan Ramczyk. And again, not going to re-sign any of these guys. Let them all hit free agency. And looking into the team before we do anything else, he has Superstar X Factor. Travis McHugh is a freaking legend. Looking into anything else, our outside linebacker is Superstar development, but our middle linebacker only has Star. But apart from that, it is time to get into free agency. And here we are after free agency, as we ended up picking up Juju Smith-Schuster and Ryan Ramczyk back up once again for a lot cheaper. And Travis McHugh is here, and he has Fearless just like Drew Brees, which is fitting with Lofting, Deadeye Clutch, and Anchored Extender. And looking into it, we're going to have to edit his name to a very, very fitting name. You guys already know what it's going to have to be. Drew Brees number 2. I should have named him Drew Brees Jr., but that's okay. Drew Brees 2 also works out. So apart from that, he does look like another, apart from the throwing power. Maybe it kind of is similar, but we also got Fred Warner in there as well. And our outside linebacker has Unfakeable, which is pretty cool, I guess. And this defensive back, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, has Strip Specialist as a superstar ability because he got upgraded, I guess, which is pretty cool as well. And apart from that, it would be time to get into the draft. During the draft, we are trading our left end, Marcus Davenport, our right end, for a 7th round pick for the left guard, Quentin Nelson, to the Saints. Next, we are trading a 2nd and a 3 and a receiver for Zach Ertz, the tight end from the Philadelphia Eagles. And after that, this is what the team looks like, as we did much improve the O-line, especially the left side of the O-line in the draft. And defensively, we did pick up a right end. That's why I traded away Marcus Davenport. And apart from that, it would be time to get into the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, coming off a win to the Miami Dolphins, and looking into it, we have some contracts that we need to get into, such as Quentin Nelson. We just traded for him, so we're obviously going to need him to bring him back, even though he will cost a lot of money. He wants even more money now. Marshawn Lattimore, he's going to cost a lot of money, but that's a player we do need to re-sign. As he re-signs Zach Ertz, we just traded for him also, so we're going to need to re-sign him, and he wants more salary. The right guard, he shouldn't even be here, so I'm going to have to adjust that contract. And everyone else here, a lot of players shouldn't be here. And apart from that, looking into it, we are 5-2 as well. I forgot to look at this. And we are second in the division behind the Atlanta Falcons. And apart from that, it is time to get into the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs, coming off a loss to the Carolina Panthers. And we are not very good, 9-7. Not making the playoffs. Okay. Drew Brees, number 2, had a pretty solid season. 16th best offense, 6th best defense. Alvin Kamara had a pretty solid defense. Drew Brees, number 2, I think 36 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Pretty good. Alvin Kamara had a good season. Michael Thomas, over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. That's what I finally like to see out of him. Elahi Jordan, 128 tackles, 17 tackles for a loss for Sheldon Rankins, 12.5 sacks for Cameron Jordan, receptions 6 for Marshawn Lattimore, and safeties is 0, and defensive touchdowns is 1 for Marshawn Lattimore. So apart from that, I think it would be time to get into the offseason. We need to make some big moves to make the playoffs. Here we are in the offseason as the Browns, the Seahawks win the Super Bowl to the Browns 23-22, as Zach Ertz is here and we need to re-sign him to make sure he comes back. And I did also just re-sign Quentin Nelson off camera, so don't worry about that. He's going to take up a lot of money just like Zach Ertz, and Zach Ertz is excited to stay with the team, and he obviously will stay. And apart from that, Zach Bond should not be here. I'm pretty sure they picked him up in the 2nd round. And apart from that, everything kind of looks good to me. Zach Bond, I may just give him a contract so that way he stays for another year for depth, but I don't really know. I don't really care. And apart from that, looking into the team, we have not... I don't see any development upgrades on offense. Defensively, our right end is Superstar X Factor. Yes. Thank you, Madden Simulation Gods. He has Unstoppable Force, which in my opinion is the best, is way better than Fearmonger. It's so much easier to get sacks with Unstoppable Force rather than Fearmonger, which only applies pressure. And apart from that, it is time to get into the offseason. Here we are after the free agency is what I meant to say, and in free agency we ended up picking up J.J. Watt, who I am moving to the inside at defensive tackle. I know it's kind of a weird move, but apart from that, it is time to get into the draft. And in the draft, we are trading our first round pick to the Dallas Cowboys for their right guard, Zach Martin. And this is what the team looks like after the draft. The O-line is absolutely stellar for our slow QB. And defensively, it looks kind of the same as a free agency. And I guess we got a defensive back. That's kind of cool, I guess. But apart from that, it would be time to get into the midseason mark. Here we are after during the midseason mark is what I should say, coming off a win to the Baltimore Ravens as we are 3-3-1, third in the division behind the Carolina Panthers. We have players to resign, but just like every year, I don't need to resign them, so it's time to get into the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs, about to face the 9-7 Philadelphia Eagles as we finish 10-5-1, winning the division, coming off a win to the Atlanta Falcons, and Drew Brees, number 2, had a great season, 9th best offense and 29th best defense. Drew Brees 2, 10 interceptions, 36 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara with a great year. Marlon Mack with 12 touchdowns. Michael Thomas had a pretty good year. And defensive-wise, Alani Jordan with 102 tackles for a loss, 18 for Cameron Jordan, sacks, 10 for Cameron Jordan, interceptions, 2 for Marshawn Lattimore, and is 1 for J.J. Watt. Defensive touchdowns is 0. So, apart from that, it is time to get into this playoff round, I would say, and let's just jump straight into this one and make sure we win it to win the Super Bowl. And here we are in the wild card. It is 18-21 in the fourth quarter, and we are up. And it is 18-21 still. Game is on the line. I think I'm gonna hop in here. So let's just get straight into it. And he's dropping back. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you kidding me? Catch him. Catch him. Get him, please. Thank you. My God, I hate this game. This game sucks. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be your game. We lost 24-21 in overtime. If you guys didn't see that last clip of me absolutely raging, the defensive back didn't step up correctly, and it didn't show that part. My Xbox didn't record the first part of that, but if you guys haven't seen that animation before where the defensive back looks like steps up, like from the receiver, steps up, and puts his hands up, acting like he's going to pick it off, and then just puts his hands down and watch the ball fly over his head. I was freaking out. I was livid. I was like, what are you doing? It's like 4th and 22, and we have the game in the bag. And I think that was Marshawn Lattimore that just stepped up and acts like an idiot. I'm in a salty mood. Sorry that we couldn't get the win, guys. But, yeah. Other than me raging and like myself going absolutely livid, I hope you guys enjoyed the video of me not even being able to win a wild card by myself because I suck at Madden. I'm also going to be doing a franchise series soon so that way you guys can see me rage even more. And you guys have selected it to be the Titans over the Giants and the Dolphins. I did a poll on Instagram to see what you guys would like on my Instagram at frostedvic.v2. It's my meme page. Don't at me about it. But apart from that, guys, I hope you guys enjoy your video, the rest of your day, not the video, and apart from that, peace out.